Hello, my name is Brayden Oski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're watching The Inner Gamer On.
And today we'll be talking about the new DLC from Marvel's Avengers. Yes, it's been a quiet time with Marvel's Avengers, but they've announced on December 8th, we are getting Kate Bishop's DLC, Taking Aim, and then followed up by Hawkeye's new DLC that comes out early 2021. No date for that yet, but we're going to talk about, will this bring us back to this game that has slowed down a lot for many people?
And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, because we know you want to.
Marvel's Avengers! Yeah, get excited!
You stuck that in there, and I didn't even open it yet.
Oh, I did. I snuck it in there real good. It's like, I'm just going to sneak it in there along with this other one. So we haven't talked about Marvel's Avengers in a little bit, but I just want to talk about this because I am kind of excited and hopeful that this is a turning point for this game, but we'll see. Marvel's Avengers has announced their next release date officially for the new character, Kate Bishop, coming out December 8th. So not too far away, a couple weeks, we're going to get Kate Bishop, and with it will come a brand new story bit of content that is immediately following the end of the main story campaign. And they go into what Kate's goals are going to be, the relationship with Clint, also known as Hawkeye, his influence on the overall storyline entirely, and this whole new component of like this time warping stuff where like I guess Clint is another timeline, and there's these. It seems wild and weird and different, but it's very interesting. I'm very intrigued by like what they've set up so far, and what I'm concerned about though is that they talk about all this cool stuff in the story, and I think the story is going to be good, and I'm hoping it's like a 3 or 4 hour campaign as opposed to like an hour and a half long experience. We'll see how that turns out. But you still saw a lot of the same kinds of enemies and the same kinds of places as you're playing, and I'm like, hopefully they decide to bring some new biome or territory or something with this content update, because I think people would like to see that. But I don't see many new enemies, other than the creation of the Super Adaptoid, which is what looks to be a villain that'll be added to the villain sector component. This is from a comic book, so this isn't like they just made this thing up. It was in the comic book franchise at some point in Marvel's comics, and it looks like it's a character that can inherit the abilities of the Avengers, so can kind of do what the Avengers characters can do, so use your powers against you.
Kind of.
Yeah. So it looks like that'll be a third villain sector that we'll be able to partake in when the update comes out. But Kate Bishop is an archer, so she's got a lot of abilities with arrows and bows, but she also has a sword, which I didn't expect to see. So she's got some melee combat she can do with a sword. Her support heroic is Decoy, which will create a hologram replica of Kate that distracts enemies with quantum energy arrows. And then, of course, she has her sword. And then she has a double jump, an air dash powered by short-range teleportation to keep her moving. And a few other components as well that make her a pretty unique-looking character. Like, there's definitely some interesting pieces there. One of which is I think you can drop down a teleportation portal that other players can run through. So like say you're Captain America who can't like go anywhere half the time because he can't fly or anything like that, can use her teleportation portals to like teleport faster to an area. So it's
Can you help her friends teleport too?
Yeah. Other people can use it. So that's kind of nice.
We need it. We need that.
So they announced that, and they also went into a little bit of a trailer that showcased kind of the future roadmap a little bit more and talked about the next mission, which is going to include focus around Clint, Hawkeye. And it sounds like it's going to take us to a new area that's in another timeline where the world's kind of been ravaged and desolate. And they introduce Maestro dressed up as Hulk, which I guess Maestro's a villain, or not a villain, but like a superhero. Are you familiar with this from the comics? Everybody knew what Maestro was, but I'm so out of like Marvel
Sounds
comics.
Familiar,
I don't know
but
anything.
Honestly, I don't.
Okay, well, Maestro is there, and it was a Hulk dressed up that had like hair and things, and he was sitting on a throne, and it looked really interesting and cool. And there was a little teaser in there where I saw Black Widow's helmet at the base of this place. Okay,
Black
here
Widow?
we go. Or not Black Widow, sorry. Black Panther. Thank you. Thank you.
I was like, what? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so Maestro is a fictional supervillain who appeared in the comic books created by writer Peter David and George Perez. He appeared in the Incredible Hulk Future Imperfect #1, which is the name of this new DLC, Future Imperfect. And he is Hulk from an alternate future. Maestro possesses Bruce Banner's intelligence and the Hulk's more malevolent personality traits. So, very cool. So they are literally following the stories of the comics.
That's good.
Like, because looking here, after a devastating nuclear war destroyed most of the human race, the Hulk and a group of other radiation-empowered heroes were captured by AIM and MODOK with the goal of eventually analyzing their physiologies to recreate the immunity to radiation. However, 100 years later, the Hulk broke out of the VR machine they were using to keep him contained and decided to work on rebuilding the world himself. So I like that they're like diving so deep into like the roots of the stories here with the comics.
I agree.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
But with all of that, like, is this enough to bring you back, Austin? Like, what are you thinking right now with the announcement of Kate Bishop, and then what maybe early next year, Hawkeye? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think the core of Marvel's Avengers is good. Obviously, the campaign was super short. Although I am excited to dive in and check out this new content, I think it inevitably will be a little too late. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, what we accomplished in there, what else there is to do, it's just more grinding in the end. There's no new, like, cool, like I feel like they needed a whole new faction of enemies. And I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah.
And we watched a video recently, I think it was by Young, and he was saying that, like, 98% of the people have dropped off on PC, and it's pretty sad because I think I checked it the other day and it was like 300 people online at the time, and then the peak of the last 24 hours was only 600 people. That is horrible.
Yeah,
like I checked out Vermintide, which is way older, and it still has thousands of people playing at the peak of 24 hours, like over 3,000, and I was like, God, that must be hard. Like, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they bring this back, if it's even possible. Obviously riddled with many issues in the game, bugs and stuff, and I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand. I mean, I'll play this, but I think after this, I might be done.
Well, I wonder if they can No Man's Sky this at all and bounce back in some capacity. Possibly. But it's going to be hard because, I mean, they just need to. The fact that if they had brought out these characters at a more regular pace, like I think they originally intended to, things would have been very different.
Yeah.
I think because once like we finished playing all the content at the end of like mid-November, or no, not we're in mid-November, mid-October, end of October. If they had brought out end of October Kate Bishop, I think they could have kept the train rolling and that momentum happening.
Yep.
But a lot of people, and then all these games came out at the same time too. So it's like people have just given up on it because all these other games are here. And I could see us come. Like I see myself coming back, but my problem that I have heard other people talk about is that once I hit my character, like Hulk hit 150, once he gets there, there's nothing to do with Hulk anymore. Like there's no point of playing him because there's no end game there's no like higher level stuff. There's no raid like there's supposed to be, the secret lab that's available for me to do something with him. And there's no higher level cap or any like, there's some better exotic gear, but it's not like significantly different. So at that point I stop playing him and I go play other characters to level them up, which is good that that's there. But that was a good point people made. It's like once you get like Ghost of Tsushima, the purpose of getting to the high level tier 105, 100 or whatever is to play the raid. Like that's your goal, is to get to the raid and play the raid and beat the raid. And then once that's done, it's just done and you finished everything. But in here, there is none of that. So I don't know. But
there's just missing content that would have helped fill some of these holes and make the campaign longer, which should have been. Again, like we look at Ghost of Tsushima. like how it was a great campaign. Added on that extra stuff, even though this Avengers it's all about the that going in and playing with friends and stuff, which is fine, but they just I think there's a lot of story that's lacking.
Yeah, I mean, I love the story. I thought
they lost like over $60 million.
Yeah, I know.
Or
that was
50
a lot.
or whatever. Just trying to fix this game.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they can bring it back, because this is a game I want them to save, or I want it to succeed and do well, because I've had such a good time playing. I played more of this game than I have like any other game on my PlayStation 4 in a long time, and I want it to do well. How many hours
did you have in it?
65, 70.
Okay,
like that.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah. Granted, Ghost of Tsushima I have 70, and I haven't even beat the game yet. Which is a big story right there, to say that
exactly.
I put in over 70 hours in this game and I have yet to beat it. Like, that's how much I love that game. Anyway, so Marvel's Avengers, new DLC.